Welcome to the APL Spotlight Series. Amazing guests, incredible guests, the world over with amazing insights, experiences, and a high vibe to share with all of us. I'm super excited to have Lucy Forster on for the first time. She's booked for the main show, and this series is reserved for guests from Angels, Positivity, and Love. We just have the most fun guests come on to this particular series. Lucy and I have met before, and she's had me on her show. She's a show host, she's an author. She's a 35-year therapist, but also Reiki Master, Usui, and other stuff. Basically, she's a really good listener, super intuitive, super plugged into the universe, and super fun and sparkly. Lucy, great to see you again.
Nice to see you.
You just recently made the move from Florida back to Wisconsin, where you used to have a four-office counseling service that did a lot of business back then. You still do counseling for folks, whether it's family, marriage, and so on. How'd that shift go? And then let's have you go way up, 2 miles up into the sky, and talk about the biggest picture. What have you seen for the shift for mankind? You've been around a while and been doing this a long time, been paying attention a long time. I'd love to get your big picture take. But first, how'd the transition go from Florida to Wisconsin?
It went amazing. I had family and friends that were able to come with me and assist, and I was literally unpacked, pictures on the wall, everything done in 6 days.
Ooh, I love it.
So it went really well.
Before we answer the billion-dollar question about mankind and big picture, when
Mm.
did you first know there was something called intuition? Childhood? Teenage years?
Uh, I guess probably in childhood, I knew I was a healer. And we had at one point 22 cats. We lived out in the country. And so cats being cats, they uh, damaged, let's put it that way, a number of, birds, bunnies, things of that nature. And because they love you, they bring you gifts, right? And so I would have these sort of mangled animals that from time to time. And I just knew that if I held them in my hands, that they could get better. I didn't know why. I just knew that that could happen. And so, quite often, my father would have these little cages that he had built for me or got someplace for me. And I would have an animal that got well and would be able to leave. Usually it was a bird, but sometimes it was a chipmunk or something of that nature, smaller. So I knew there was something that was different about me, even as a child. And then as I went to college, I would just know things. I had a boyfriend at that time that drove from Indianapolis to St. Louis, where I was going to college. And I woke up after he had left one time and I knew he'd been in an accident. And so that was maybe when I was 18, 19 years old. So yeah, I just kind of thought, well, I'm different than most of my friends, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. And the big one had only happened about 11 years ago now. And that was when my husband at the time, he's deceased now, he's been gone for almost 8 years. But at that time, he was in ICU, and the doctor basically said he has an hour and a half to live. And I had already become a Reiki master and was using energy with other people. And with my brother who had already passed on, I knew that I had the ability to stop his pain, but I couldn't stop him from dying. So with my husband, I was hearing a voice that basically said, put your right hand on the top of his head, put your left hand on his heart. So I knew they wanted me to do energy. But in my human thinking, it was like I've already been told he has an hour and a half to live. Why am I doing this? But I just follow instructions when I'm given those kind of instructions. And what I've told people is it's not me. I didn't do it, but I'm absolutely attached to divine energy. And so at the 11th chakra, they moved their divine energy into me because I'm attached that far. And they were able to move into my husband. And literally, he had 78% oxygen. So anyone listening to your show would know that that means that the body is dying. That's why they were able to say an hour and a half. And he had already started modeling. His legs from his knees down were purple. So in 30 seconds, his oxygen level went from 78% to 98%. And they ran down the hall and they said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just doing energy work." And they said, "Keep doing it because we can now take him to surgery." And they pulled 500 cc's of fluid off of his heart because he had pericardial effusion. And so that's when I really knew that I absolutely am connected in a divine way, and that my job here on earth was to work with people who were ready to receive.
Have you taught hands-on healing classes at all?
No, I have not.
Not yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's back up a little. You're very confident or just comfortable in your own skin with this and accepting or allowing big time. Have you always been that way, or was there a little period between like age 22 and 26 where you like retreated big time and you were like, I'm not doing this anymore? And then it came right back and you were like, I'm good with my skills. Or have you always allowed for this?
I think I've always allowed for it. There was a time between 20 and 30 that I was not as believing. There was a Native American, he's no longer alive, but his name was Sun Bear. And I went to a weekend retreat with him. And of course, I think I've had multiple lifetimes as Native American. But I kind of laughed when I saw him because he had the long white braid and he was dressed in Native American garb. And I thought, oh, he's kind of playing it up. And but by the end of that particular weekend, one of the things that we did is we were on the grounds of the Shaw's Botanical Garden in St. Louis, and we had to dig a hole actually in the ground. Part of our activity was to learn to do what the Native Americans would do when they would come out of their longhouses at the end of the winter. And they would harbor a certain amount of grudges and anger and resentment towards other members of the tribe because you're living all together. And so we had to dig this little hole and speak into the hole any kind of resentment we might be holding towards somebody. And I knew people who were walking around on the grounds were going, okay, what are these people up to? But it was such a spiritual, I guess, and an enlightening maybe period. And I was probably like 26, 27, maybe 28 years old when that happened. And so I began to understand that I could ignore it. I could ignore what I knew internally and intuitively, or I could accept it. Those were kind of my choices. And I decided at that point I needed to go ahead and accept where I was being led and just understand that it was all going to be good, but I had to be open and I had to trust and believe as I was on that journey.
Dream time. Talk to us about your dreams, or along the way, you've had a lot of them. Some of them you don't remember, many you do. Is there one that's already coming to mind that you'd want to share that was either vision-like or relatives coming in or angels? Which one would you want to share?
Oh my goodness. I don't know that there is honestly and truly a specific dream that I would like say, this is one I need to share. Um, I very often am awakened with information. I would say more than an actual dream, where I'm being shown glimpses of things. So it might be like a journey on the water. It might be a village someplace, where I'm just being given like a snapshot of this is important to you. This was something that was in your life. Or it might be sometimes I'm on a mountain, and I'll feel that I'm by myself. I'm not with anyone else, but I'm on this mountain, but I'm very comfortable there. And it's, beautiful scenery and animals. One of the big thing that's really been unique about me with animals, and again, from childhood on, but I was in Georgia a couple of years ago, and we had deer, and we were told at this Airbnb that there would be mason jars of corn on the table, and we could, feed the deer. They would expect it. But we also took apples, because I was thinking, I know deer love apples. And so we took these apples along too. And sure enough, the next morning, there was a whole herd. There was maybe, I'm going to say 12, and quite a few were females and some were, young. But there was one that literally looked at me, and I knew she was looking at me. And she started walking towards me, and I held this part of an apple in my hand, and she walked all the way over as a wild deer and took it out of my hand.
Hmm.
So I can't say that there's dreams. I just would say there's visions.
Well, I love the deer story because I actually have a little deer story here, which I'll try to play the video at my back fence. That's my buddy that I feed,
Oh, he's beautiful.
and he gets carrots and apples.
And apples. Yeah, they do love apples.
Yeah,
He
he
is beautiful.
long eyelashes, but under his left eye, he's got a black dot. And I can tell with his antlers, they're a little off symmetrically, but I know his style. And he's got a bigger buddy who's the alpha, who's got a back leg that limps. And he's shy, but he's getting less shy. And then they both had big limps last summer. And so I've been feeding him for a while just to hopefully
Get
see
them
some.
healthy.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about energy, light, consciousness, love. Love's the fabric of the universe, maybe. How would you like to describe the force from Star Wars? Which way do you like to describe it? Is it auras, consciousness? Is it just the fabric, the flow? How do you like to describe light, but across all the different topics from your Reiki experience, from your healing experience, what you've seen on people, maybe auras? What's your patented way of looking at all this?
I truly believe that energy is nothing more than love. I really do. I wrote a book, The Adventures of Miss Twiggs and Company, and that's how they end, their story. It's three mice that represent love, truth, and wisdom. And they know that if we understand as human beings that love is all there is, then we do things from a different perspective.
Beautiful. Which angel has in the past come to you the most?
Well, I've just discovered his name, so I know that it's Joseph. And now I don't know whether this is the biblical Joseph or another Joseph, but
He's
his name
he's
is
an angel, so the biblical Joseph is definitely an angel, and I think that's your guardian angel, right?
okay. Well, he has been with me since I was very young. And there was a point when I was 17 when I was hemorrhaging, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And I remember passing out at the hospital. And the next thing I remember was there was I'm not a big person, and there was a very large, in my estimation, woman that was laying on me because my veins had all collapsed. And so they were having a very difficult time getting a transfusion started. And then the next thing I remember was maybe a day later, and there was somebody at the end of my bed, and it was a male, and he was in white, and I thought it was like a white doctor's jacket. And I just really remember saying, "Am I going to be okay?" And the words have always stayed with me because the words were, "You have much to accomplish. You're going to be fine." It was very short and sweet, and but it didn't sound like a doctor. So later, one of the nurses came in, and I was aware enough, and I said, "Who was the doctor that came to visit me?" And she said, "There was no doctor here visiting." So I think that was Joseph. I had asked if it was him when I talked with you before, and he said yes. So evidently he has been there all along. And I chuckle now because I've always been a little bit headstrong, where if I want something, I just go for it.
Yep.
And, it's like everybody can have what they want. They just have to know what they want and then go about asking for the guidance to get there.
Mm.
So a lot of times I got in my own way because I thought I knew better. And I've learned over the last probably 7 years to trust and just believe that they have our higher um, powers and our higher good in mind. But they sit along the sidelines, I think.
Mm.
And I'm sure they're very frustrated with us as human beings. And they just go, okay, well, eventually, she or he is going to say, hey, I'd like a little guidance here. So, yeah, I think Joseph has been there all along.
Well, we're going to zigzag a little and get right back to Joseph, but I'm going to light some sage as we transition to a little interactive. So instead of a linear podcast, this show, if you stick around, especially towards the end, most of our guests take some sort of multisensory step with sage, seeing light, listening to an angel on our behalf, and they share some messages or even more. Sometimes group seeing if it's a mind, body, spirit panel. But I'm going to light sage. I am sweating so much today. Like that's what happens when I'm in interactive mode. And since you've been talking, I have waterfalls going down. It's not something normally a podcast host or show host shares, but hey, it happens. Tyler Henry, when he does his thing, he's sweating like it's a hose down his head. I'm sweating down my back, my sides. It's crazy. So, Lucy, you're tapping into something here. Here's the sage. You and I have done this a few times. And people, if you've watched the show before, doesn't matter what year it is, time and space isn't what you think. This isn't about thinking. Allow, allow, allow. Ask angels to make it nice. They'll bring you the sage smoke through two screens. And there we go. Catch a little sage, but why settle for sage? Not that it's not amazing, it's not ho hum. Catch the sage, catch flowers, catch ocean, catch something extra. If anybody wants light around them in the room, just be like, Calgon, take me away. Angels make it so. Let angels do their jobs. And the last
Uh,
bit is just get out of your head into your heart. Okay, Lucy, what are you getting there?
I have a combination of sage and something citrusy.
Yay. Maybe a little Florida saying hi.
Could be almost like a grapefruit orange smell for sure.
I like that. If you'll close your eyes though, now you're out of the frying pan into the fire and there's no fire, no frying pan. Out of you, just close your eyes, sit still. Let Joseph come in and let him come in on the hospital thing for a second. So you kind of chuckle. He was as much involved as you were. So what's his take on the hospital thing? A little bit of work involved, but all's well as ends well. What'd he say?
His objective was just to reassure me that the path would be good.
Good. And then keep going. But if after that, if you don't mind asking him for a general message for all of us to keep our chins up, stay open, and more, what's Joseph have as a reminder for all of us?
Um, okay, so these are the words I'm hearing that, okay, it's a little bit confusing. He's saying that we need to keep in mind that mankind is good if we believe in the goodness of humanity. That's what I'm getting.
And you can ask him, but you don't have to share it out loud. Isn't he the biblical side, not a random Joseph? And not that any angel's random, but he's the Joseph. You know, it's like Abe from Abraham of old, the biblical Abraham. He's Abe. He's on everyone's team. He's a grandfather, angel-like figure.
Right? No, he is saying that that's who he is.
Yeah.
He has the most gentle brown eyes. They're very, very, very loving.
Aw, well, have him touch you on the back and just zing you with such zing that you're like, oh, and then come back if you would when you're ready. And people at home, you can close your eyes and just ask for a hug from an angel. It could be Joseph, it could be your own, it could be collective. You could be like, hey, I'll just take it from the whole cheerleading squad. I need more than a hug. I need 16 hugs. Or I need a hug that's going to last more than this moment, and I'll take it rippling through the weekend, through the month. Why settle for linear? The brain only deals in limits, the heart is limitless.
It's more of a very warm, it's a heat that I'm feeling more than a zing.
Yay. All right, well, we'll put you through the ringer here. We'll do a few more angels. I'm going to put an angel named Joy up in just a second, as soon as I can figure out how to operate. There we go, iPhone. Um, and then later, we're going to do Abraham. I hadn't thought of him, but perfect grandfatherly figure on everyone's team. There he is. Okay, here's an angel named Joy for you, pink ball light. Get a hug, get a private message, and then if you want to get a topic from her that she's like, you should talk about this.
Right. What came through instantly was talk about energy.
Let's do it. What do we need to know about energy?
Well, I think people right now are very low on energy as a human race. There's so much stress. And I've been getting lately these messages that it's only as stressful as we want to believe it is, and to change our beliefs and see this as a learning opportunity, that it isn't as we perceive it. I keep getting that message that life is not exactly as we think it is, but it's something that we need to understand and that we need to trust. And so I get these words, they don't give me full sentences. They give me like little burst of trust, believe, um, acknowledge. I mean, it's like one word at a time. And then my understanding, at least from my perspective, is what does that mean to me? So with energy and joy, kind of, I mean, with it being pink and sparkly, it is like this ball of energy, and that's who we are. We are nothing more than energetic vibrational frequencies. So when we lift our frequency by believing and trusting, then life can change. And as long as we're working with a heaviness, which is what's out there right now, then we're letting that joy, that frequency be diminished. And so it's up to us as a human race to do that trust and believe that the opportunities are there, but we need to shift our thinking.
Brilliant. Love it. I've got an angel for you named Charlotte. She's everyone's favorite school teacher from third grade if you're in New Zealand right now or Canada, third form. But
Okay.
not the one who got you in trouble, the nice one. Here's Charlotte. She's
Okay.
got words of wisdom meant to help you expand. What are you feeling from Charlotte? What are you getting from Charlotte? If you need to get something private first, do it. She's one of my business managers, tough taskmaster 12 or 13, 14, 15 years ago, but super nice.
All right. Again, I get it in little short sentences. What I got was speak your truth.
And I'll put up one more for now, and we'll do this later on. Keep you talking here. Although we might do some energy in a second, seeing energy. Here's what I use for Abe, the Abraham of old. He'll tell you he was a jerk as a human, but now he's a little opposite of other angels. Instead of when he shows up in human form a lot, but it's not to teach fishing, it's to hand out fish, sort of the opposite of most angels. If
Oh,
you'll,
wow.
yeah, use him this photo for Abe, but you can catch a pipe smell or cologne or a fatherly, grandfatherly feel.
Okay.
And what are you getting from Abe?
Um, Solid, strength, very commanding. Um,
Here, close your eyes. He'll come in on your eyelids, and you'll get either a visual or you could get it a different way. There's only 4 million ways to go, but close your eyes, let him come in. If you need help from Joy and Joseph and Michael, breathe extra though at home. If anybody needs extra help, just put a hand on your heart, breathe through your mouth a little, ask for extra help. Be like angels. Hey, get me out of my head into my heart. Help me rock this. Amen. Rock and roll. Thank you. Whichever way you roll. Just it's called setting your intent. You already do it every day.
I get the feeling that he takes people on a journey, and anyone who joins him has total trust. He's knowledgeable. He's very strong.
Papa Bear.
Hmm.
What has jumped to the top of your mind from all the last, 10 minutes or so? What's another topic besides energy? What else is coming to mind?
The word healing popped in.
Are we all on a healing journey and it's okay as it is right now, but we can always do more of this?
Yeah. I know as a therapist that we spend 96% of our time in our brain, and the heart has 40 million brain cells. So if we can shift to the heart, then those brain cells, along with our intuition, which is in our heart, will always make the right decisions for us. Um, and I'm getting the feeling, at least in this conversation today, that that's what this is. It's a journey of going into the heart and allowing for our intuition to guide us in our own personal journeys. Because they being angelic beings will be able to guide us if we're in our heart. They can't guide us if we stay in our head. And so we have to learn to go within to hear in order to move forward with our life.
Hmm. And someone famous once said you have to go within so you don't go without. But here's Charlotte again, and she said 7% less thinking a day is the Olympic gold medal. And I've done the math like 5 or 6 times, I always forget, but it's about an hour and 45 minutes a day of less thinking. And if you can do that, you're maxing out. I mean, I'm sure some people can do 10% less thinking on a random day, but she said 7% less thinking is it, not some giant mountain you have to climb every day or 4,000 push-ups, spiritual push-ups. We're going to do a little bit of aura, seeing light, stuff like that. Out of Celestine Prophecy, the movie, they do it this way. India, they do it this way. And as Sue Frederick, I always cite her on this show. She was a guest last summer in 2024, who's been around a while. She said in the 1970s they were doing it this way before the movie ever existed. So it doesn't matter. I use this as a background. Blue sky is number one. Shut off TV, a black sweatshirt. Somebody at the movie theater is not paying attention. You could use the back of them see it, and you can see auras on everything, trees, people. And if you've got a loved one and you get over just doing it solo and they do it, you can each be half the glow stick. Put a finger out. You can see the flow between you or a band playing together that likes each other, not in the middle of a fight. You can see the flow between them. Ballerinas is a tough call because half the time it's a little political. It's like a police station. You wouldn't know that the troop is like this, but ballerinas are a tough act, but you might get lucky sometimes. Here's this. I'll put my fingers up. Most importantly, you're getting a dad joke. Where in a hospital, to keep it thematic here, where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where? In the ICU.
Oh, cute. Very cute.
Okay, and I'm just going to do this and you'll tell us what you're getting. As soon as you say some colors, I'll go bigger and wider. We'll let angels make a bigger design. What are you getting right now?
Okay, I can see it's like yellow,
Okay.
yellow moving from back and forth.
And breathe bigger, ask Joy, Charlotte, Abe, Joseph to come in and help you even more. What are you getting now? Any extra colors?
Silver.
Okay, I'm going to go bigger, wider, let angels just take over. You might get a design, floral, vortices, geometric. What are you getting now?
Looks like it's rotating. It's green, yellow, blue, silver.
Yay, I'm going to put my fingers down. And I'm going to tell one more dad joke just because I can. And what the heck? What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips.
Oops. I was gonna get that one.
But someone said iris, so they were correct as well. We'll do one more angel for the moment. I'm going to put up Lucy, your namesake. She's an angel whose patience, I don't know if we did her before, we might have.
No.
You could put your palm up this time, and instead of giving Reiki, feel angel light. If you want to see it coming from the photo through two screens into your palm, you can. Have her separately do your back and separately do your crown chakra. If you need any extra bandwidth, ask an angel out there that you love, Joseph, Michael, somebody, Mary, Joseph, and who am I supposed to say? Anyhow, the point is ask them to hold your space so that you get jacked up. You've got an extra Google fiber optic cable coming in. Get lots of love from Lucy. Hear a little bit of humor.
Lots of tingling.
Yay. I didn't do it. Blame angels. Don't blame Canada. Okay. Um, if you'll close your eyes and get another topic for us, where do you want to take us next?
Okay, another word that just pops in is forgiveness.
Ooh, okay. Do we start with ourselves before others, or it doesn't really matter? Keep swinging at the plate.
And then keep swinging here. Yeah, it really okay, so the sensation I'm getting, from that word as it came in is just that, okay, I'm getting a planetary more than I am a person.
Mhm.
It's like we have to forgive ourselves for what we're doing to the planet, and we have to rectify that. Um, that it has to stop being about getting ahead. It has to start being about taking care of each other, going back to loving each other, but loving the earth. And we're not doing that. And so there's a big push. It, it's almost like Abraham, that strength.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why he was there a minute ago, but it was like this strength that we have to pay attention, and he's demanding it that we pay attention. Hmm. Thoughts?
Talk to us about the flow up here or the unflow, the unconsciousness versus the consciousness here, and how that's really a big step for anybody on their path is recognizing the difference. And there's a million ways to describe like awareness, love, unconditional love, consciousness versus, fear, rejection, worry, judging that precludes possibility. Talk to us about that duality.
All right. So the sense that I've always had, just as me, not anything beyond that, is that we as a human race have always been about acquiring
Hmm.
and power. Like if he who has the gold rules, the golden rule. And so the focus of us as humans has always been on acquiring, whether it's land or businesses. And I think the shift, and this is one of the main reasons I came back to Wisconsin, the shift has been, and for me, is to get away from that. That Florida for me was all about acquisition and watching the land being gobbled up and no rights for the animals, no concern, for just peace, harmony, working together with the land, not just acquiring the land. And as I look back over history, and if we've all been around multiple lives, I think that's what I've always seen is that, we have to stop acquiring and we have to appreciate what we have and to work with what's around us, to make it because we can live in harmony with the animals that are here, with the resources that are here, but we haven't been doing that. And we're kind of at a critical juncture now. And so that's part of what I'm picking up is that I think Joseph almost is saying the same thing as Abraham, like now is the time to stop where we've been going and go into reverse and start healing and start forgiving. Does that make any sense to you?
I loved it. I thought it was so incredible. It just sparked a whole nother line of inquiry here. And will you remind me that we're going to go a little galactic in a little bit, but not yet. So with your permission, this is just a distraction, a little bit later. With your permission, we're going to go off the reservation in a big way. We're going to bring in at least three more angels, two more angels, three Native American chiefs, and Sai Baba and have some fun. But will you give yourself permission to hear even longer insights? And I'm going to put up Michael and I'm going to put up Joy to hear you've got this. If you don't mind privately hearing you got this plus a big hug. So whatever you think you're doing, you can add an extra 10, 20, 30%. You'll hear extra and catch a little swirl of light around you and just say, got it when you got it.
Got it.
Okay. You're doing a big service for us all, so why not? Okay, here's Mac. Don't call her Mackenzie. She's everything plants, animals, and nature. She's an angel.
Hmm.
And she's got kind of a origin story of being a Pleiadian, but angel today, so don't worry about it. And just catch something from her about the planet, nature, how we can just relax more, chill out, breathe. That will do a lot more than anything trying wise.
Okay. I used to see her when I took pictures all the time. She would be in all my pictures.
I love it. So, look, you guys go back. Now, close your eyes if you need to. You've already got it locked in. Get a squeeze on the shoulder or both shoulders. Have Audrey Hepburn come in for the small of your back. Get a just jolt, but have words come tumbling much longer and own it. No caveats, no conditionality, no hedging. You got this. And it's the same thing you were just talking about, but even more eloquent because you were eloquent before. But catch, catch, catch what we need to know. Give us the next layer. And Lucy Forsting, you're wonderful for being on the show. We thank you now for that. What'd you get from Mac? Don't call her Mackenzie, the angel. What'd you get?
Um, that we need to get back to our literally roots is what she's saying. Get back to the roots of life. Work together. Um, don't be against each other. Live with harmony, with everything that's around you. And I have to tell you this funny little, I mean, it's a true story because no one has ever seen this before, but my partner in life now, we were at a park and, it was probably June, I'm going to guess. And it was high tide. And we were just there to watch, like it was an afternoon. We thought maybe we'd stay for the sunset, but it was probably between 4 and 5. And all of a sudden there was some splashing. And he went down the hill just a little bit from the bank because there was like a trail that went down to the water. And he hollered for me to come. He said, "Come down here and you got to take a picture of this." And there were three manatees
Ooh.
that were in this little cove, one male, two females, and they were mating. And so we have pictures, and no one has ever seen manatees that we know of, other, like in the wild, that would come in and mate that closely. And it took maybe 10 minutes. It wasn't a really long, big affair. And then they all swam away.
Hmm.
And so that's kind of the excitement that if we get back to really trusting nature to show us the way, it's all possible. But we have to, again, get out of our heads and get into our heart and trust that we truly have the way to bring the world back into peace and harmony. But we have to trust that process and not be at it with, who's going to have this land and who's going to have this power.
Hmm.
We have to agree that we're going to work together. Otherwise, we're going to perish as humanity. And it's not necessarily in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years, but it will happen. And we won't be here anymore as a race. So we have to do it now, or it's never going to happen.
Honor your space or honor the present moment, honor each other, honor the space around you. How about that?
Mhm.
I've got
Yes.
another angel for you, Harmony, since you keep bringing her up. She's Harmony, although she chose the word tranquility. That's supposed to be rainbow light. Hey, I was taking it with a Sure Shot camera and, used to hand the camera to folks. You can just see her directly. If anybody wants to look out the window, just, a whole football field away if you're nervous.
Yep.
Tennis
I,
court if you're bold.
I've seen
Yeah.
it.
So put your hand out, catch a vibe, but allow her to go front and back of you as well. So you're getting a trifecta
Hmm.
and get whooshed, get swirled. What's a mantra she has for all of us?
Well, what initially came in was trust in the process, but I don't know whether that's a mantra. But I
That
think
is, that works.
yeah, I
I'm,
think it was,
I'm trusting in the process.
yeah. And I can feel the tingling on the front and behind me. It was just like a little electrical current.
Okay, first Native American chief, dull knife. He's wisdom with some humor, like a mountain range. I believe Cheyenne. These guys have been with me since 1970 when I was two. I've got original paintings on the wall. When my dad passed in the Navy off of Italy, June of 1970, he just turned 26, back seat or front seat of an F4, radar and weapons, not the pilot, off the aircraft carrier Roosevelt. It was his time to go. No body recovered. When the military sedan left with the telegram breaking the news to my mom, who was like 24, a woman walked these three pictures over that were over my bed as a kid. And then as an adult, they're in the office. I've shown them before. But here's the historical photos of Dull Knife, Red Shirt Geronimo. And they've been, again, with me a long time. Unconditional love figures. Plenty of people have met them already, have known them on their own. Here's Dull Knife. He's beautiful. Catch one of those sacred scents around you in the room: sage, sweetgrass, juniper, cedar, pine, desert pinon. You get the idea. Douglas
Hmm.
fir. But here's something beautiful from him. Get something personal first. Get a hug, a blessing, and then something for public consumption. You're only playing psychic medium right now, and you're doing great.
Um, Wisdom,
And did you get one of those sacred smells?
sweetgrass.
Yay, I didn't do it. Blame Dull Knife on that one. Okay, his original name was Morningstar. His knife didn't penetrate a shield once, and he got teased, and the name stuck, and he didn't mind. Here's Red Shirt. Lakota Sioux Chief, compassion, compassion, compassion. I always describe him as the gentlest mom in the world. He's such a sweetie, soft spoken, wearing a U.S. presidential medal. I think it was Teddy Roosevelt who gave it to him. The day after the photo was taken, he and Geronimo, White House, Pennsylvania Ave, horseback parade. Okay, super soft spoken. You can get something very direct.
Understand. You know, his eyes basically are saying, "Understand me, understand."
One more chief for you. Geronimo, older Geronimo. He steals the show. You'd think Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and a dozen, 10 dozen angels would be a big deal, but Geronimo comes in pretty fast and furious. He's action, dry wit, humor, and those first two are formal, proper, yes, no. Geronimo's like, yeah, nah, duh. You already got the answer. Like, just do it. What are you sitting around for? Okay, he's like a drill sergeant. Okay, what are you getting from Geronimo on this big picture stuff?
Sadness. He's sad and um, like sad and concerned. It's just this. What are you doing?
For mankind?
Uh-huh.
I've been at this 15 years and I'm shocked at the circles, but not judging. It's always, chipping away at this. It's kind of a big block of ice though. If there's a big group of how do I do this politely? If it's a big group about oranges, they want to connect with oranges, and oranges are really important to connect with. You show up and you're like, hey, do you want to connect with an orange over here? And they're like, nah, go away. We're looking for oranges. And that's borrowing from Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. He had a quote. He's a passed over author. I reached out to him just before he passed over, but I got to talk to his caretaker instead. That was kind of cool. Um, but he's got a quote that it goes something like this: truth comes knocking at the door and you yell, go away, I'm looking for the truth. Strange,
Mhm.
but true was the
Mhm.
quote. So with that, let's pick up the vibe though a little, because the present moment, the time is always now. I hear it from Geronimo. It feels like 5 times a week. So let's not give up on humanity just yet. And let's bring in Sai Baba, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, the one from 100 plus years ago. I have a colorized photo. And let's hear something upbeat from him. But if you don't mind, can you fling finger paint all over your room right now? Just throw some finger paint for 3 seconds, clear the decks. People at
Okay.
home can do this as well, and you can get your own personal message, get a hug, go back and do all those angels and chiefs and stuff like that. Here's Sri Shirdi Sai Baba. He'll move, wink, smile in the photo. He'll move in a historical photo. Say, got it when you got the movement.
He raised his eyebrow.
Yay. And then catch an incense from India that comes in that it's so exquisite. You're like, okay, I'm ready for this broad, expansive chin up message.
Hmm. Okay.
And what are you getting from him to share with us? If you want, get something private, get a private mantra. This way you can't ever accuse our show of not being really cool. And then what's his message for mankind?
Be there for one another.
Hmm. How can a person who's a thinker, who stumbles in at minute like probably 50 or so on this podcast, how can a person who's a thinker, they've been a lawyer all their life, an accountant, they know something's up, they just had a little near-death experience, they started poking around on the internet, they ended up at YouTube, near-death experiences or spirituality, they're kind of wondering now, how can they allow for what isn't physically right in front of them? How can they relate to this topic? What would you have to say to them?
I think they need to go back to being a child in their thinking and just have a beautiful memory of when they were maybe 5 or 4 or 6, when everything was just so amazing. Maybe it was, I don't know, being at the zoo or being on the beach or something usually with nature that they can go back and connect to and to bring that essence back into their life, that excitement about being alive, not worrying, not having anxiety, not being stressed all the time, but just to wake up in the morning and be so excited about what the day was going to bring.
I love that. And also, I always say get a dog and pay a lot of attention to the dog. You need post-it notes. Everywhere you look, it's like pay attention to Ralphie and go
Mm.
snuggle the dog. The dog is one of the best instructors. But to be honest, your cell phone can also be your instructor. So here's, if anyone can see that dog with the foam, there's one of the dogs, and people have to go back and play that again. Let's do one more interactive exercise. It's going to be with your permission, Angel's permission. I'll just stick up the first three angels I grabbed off the top. These are actual photos. My guardian angel, Min, Silhouette, Oceany Angel, Charlotte, and Lucy. Here they've got this and they've got us. I'm going to put my hand up in Texas. You're in Wisconsin now. And if you don't mind, just we'll connect love and above only, not my bill paying side. I got to go back to and pay the Spectrum cable bill. Okay. What do you feel right now for love and above? What are you getting in Wisconsin?
It's a pulsating rhythm.
And I'll whoosh probably three times. We're going to let angels do the real whooshing here. Here comes small, medium, and then large. No two whooshes have to be the same. I'll blow a little. The microphone's down below today, not above. And it'll be what it is, but it'll be a little more. It'll be 1 plus 1 is 11. Maybe 1 plus 1 is 1,111. Take that plus sign, break it apart, and make it into two more ones. Who knows? Let's let angels do all the work here. We're not going to just receive. And you at home get to participate in all this stuff. Wind it up again, watch it again, and take your steps. Get pen and paper if you need to. Okay, here we go. Lucy Forsting in Wisconsin. We love you. This is amazing. Here it comes. First one. What just happened? Did you get a little love, feel a little light, see a little light?
Absolutely. Plus heat.
Okay. And the second one, let's see if it can be a little different. Maybe the backside, maybe a little volume turned up. If anybody needs volume turned up, breathe more, ask more, allow more. Why not? How about them apples?
Hmm.
Okay, but you got to use words on that one. What'd you get?
Okay, so it was just an increase in heat and an increase in the tingling.
Okay, here's four archangels for you: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. I chopped off the three others that were in the bigger photo. So Shamuel, Jophiel, and Zadkiel. But whatever. Let these four crank up the volume. So just say, yeah, I'm game, or yep, got it. Let them do their job, and just here you're going to get a little extra. But you got to say some word out loud that acknowledges it. Like, yeah, let's rock it. Let's do it. What do you got for us? You could just say yes. Give us
Yes.
permission. Okay, here we go. Here comes extra. How about that? Was that fun?
Yeah, that was fun. And it actually felt like my hand was being pushed.
Ooh, no one's ever said that before. You're totally invited back on the show, but you're already coming back on. We got you coming on the regular show in 2026, so very excited about that. I'm going to read a statement that I've carried around forever from angels. I think it's from my Listening to Angels book by an angel named Dale. So here's the quote. I'd love to get your reaction. It's super gentle and sparkly. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment, so too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassion to all, do it. What say you, Lucy Forsting?
I think that's a wonderful, not exactly a mantra, but a lifestyle that all of us should live that because, we go to the grocery store, we go in a drugstore, we're walking down the street. Especially children will catch, I mean, for me, they absolutely whip around and look. So I know they see who I am, whereas adults are so caught up in their lives that they usually don't. But you can make such a huge difference in somebody's day just by a smile.
And you gave yourself the homework assignment here, which is how do we shorten that all down to a mantra? But you go in any direction with the mantra. I got four archangels for you standing by because you're going to give us a mantra with your permission 3 times in a row, the same mantra. But by you repeating it, people can pick up on your vibe. They can put their hands out and pick up on your love that you're sharing with all of us. And if you need any help, archangels are there, Joseph's there, Joy, Michael, the whole shebang. So let us know when you've got your mantra, and we'll wrap it up after that. You get a final reminder in the long word form. But what's your mantra that you'll repeat 3 times? Are you ready?
Mhm.
Okay, what mantra do you have?
I am a healer. I am a healer. I am a healer.
Lucy Forsting, any last message you want to leave with us? Chin up. Is there a little bit of hope? I got hope and faith for you. Two more angels if you don't mind. If you don't mind closing your eyes, hope is yellow color, faith is yellow colored, and hope is peach colored. Let them come in. Maybe one can be on one shoulder, one on the other shoulder if you want to put your hands out off camera. In the palm of your hand, you can feel their light, or you can feel their full human hands. We've done that before and leave everybody out of it, but you can full on feel a human hand for an angel. No problem. But what do hope and faith have? Get a beautiful malachi crunch from Happy Days. Get a beautiful double hug from them from one side and the other. Get smushed like a s'mores or an Oreo cookie, and you're the filler in between. So, hope and faith coming in. What's your final message for us? And did you get hope and faith okay?
I did. I did.
Yes. Okay. What's your final message with a little help from hope and faith? What's the chin up? It's not over yet for mankind.
No, I don't think it is over yet. But I think we can go out each day and make it our best life. And by doing that, we will help others. We'll be a guide.
Beautifully spoken, like almost every single response you've given today. So, Lucy Forsting, wonderful having you on. Incredible. But of course, you're your own show host for your show. So, you've been doing this a long time. And I want to thank you for being a guest today. Just awesome having you here.
You're very welcome. It was my total pleasure.
Big hugs and great seeing you.
Bye bye.